there is this new conditioned belief, and it's extremely toxic, it's extremely scary. Be careful. You may fall into it, but be careful. The belief is that not everyone can change. That is the belief. There's a big culture shift, by the way, and you can study this, especially if you look up, say, individualistic conditioning, and you could say collectivist conditioning. One is more on the desire, ego boost side of things. That's all about the individual, for example. That's pretty much what we're coming out of now, right? Where it's about getting yours, taking responsibility, stepping up, go get the money, go get the success, do you. Individual above collective. It's now shifted, and there's this pendulum swing that happens every so often. And now we're entering over collective over individual. Anything that's saying, do you, go get yours, it's like, no, because that's selfish. What about everyone else? Oh, you get yours? That's making other people feel bad. No. So there's a big shift here. And there's also a big shift where you'll see stuff like take responsibility, which, again, for a certain person, a certain context, can be amazing advice, start to get demonized. Taking responsibility is now boomer mentality. Taking responsibility is now called victim blaming. You get that, right? Say right now, I were to be completely broke, out of shape, and I'm like, hey, I need help. Can you help me? And you're like, well, step one is take some responsibility and let's go do this. My answer could be like, whoa. Telling me to take responsibility? Are you saying it's my fault I'm like this? No. You want to know why I'm so out of shape? It's the system. Fast food everywhere, and you blame me for that? No, it's the system that's rigged. We got to fix the system. It's not me. Don't blame the victim of the system. Now, is it true that there's a ton of problems with the system? Of course. Doesn't take away from that. But reclaiming responsibility, just like we talked about with forgiving, it has nothing to do with, again, approving of it. It means stop giving your power away to that. Sure, the system could be messed up, but don't use that as something to stay stuck and hurt yourself even more. But that's happening. Then you'll also see things like, well, telling people they can change, that's lying to people because not everyone can change. Why are you giving false hope to some of the losers out there? Interesting. Anything that, again, gives power to the individual is going to start to get demonized and zapped out. Even things such as positive thinking. If you're too positive, and again, there is such a thing as escapism with that, and it can be compulsive and something to work on. But if you're too positive and you're making someone feel bad, it's like, hey, you're toxic positivity. What is that? You're making the collective, you're making the rest of us feel bad. Oh, hey, you're moving up? Like, oh, no, come back down with us. A big shift there. And, changing yourself and succeeding isn't necessarily an easy journey. It's a very difficult one, to be honest. It's simple, but it's not easy to execute on, let's just say. And there's going to be times where you do feel a bit of that despair, times where you feel like giving up. Trust me, I felt like giving up many a times. And with this new conditioning, it's very appealing to that, where it's like, well, screw it. I was given false hope. Not everyone can change. That's not true. Okay, so be careful of that. It will really condition you to start believing that you are worthless, that you have no power, that you have no strength. I even see it, funny enough, on things like TikTok. I'll post, say, a coaching clip on TikTok, and say it's someone who's like, comes up, it's like, hey, give me advice, I'm ready, and I'll give some advice. And then some of the comments are like, oh, this coach is making the client feel bad. Right? Oh, that's some pretty harsh advice. Even though it's helpful, it's pretty harsh, I don't know. And they don't realize it's like, yo, this isn't, first of all, some random person in the street that I just dragged up. I'm like, you will listen to me now, right? And then what's the assumption is that everyone is so weak and pathetic that they can't handle it, right? It's like, why would you tell that to such a weak and pathetic person? What about giving power to the individual? What about, hey, maybe that person, that's you projecting onto them that they are so weak and pathetic. What if they're actually strong and they can handle it? And what if they are so sick of everyone outside of, say, a seminar room like this, pandering to like weak and patheticness, like, oh, you can't handle it, you can't handle it. That doesn't really help them. They're like, just tell me the truth. I can handle it. Who's going to tell me something who's going to believe that I can handle it and tell me the truth? And it's a breath of fresh air when they get that. The first thing I would do, by the way, if that is you, and you start really doubting yourself, like, can I really do this? Anyone experience that now, by the way? Just raise your hand if so, kind of in that rut. Yeah, right? There's that belief where it's like, you might see how it can help others. It can help some, but not you. Talk to someone who will take the charge out of this. If it's just you in your mind, what your mind will do is start spiraling out of control. Say there's that little seed, like, maybe I am powerless and worthless. Maybe it's just a little different for me. Yeah, it is. Oh, really? Yeah. It's so hard for you. I mean, look at all the times you failed. Like, you're right. Look at all those times you kind of gave up. Look at all those other people who get ahead faster, right? It'll play that comparing game. And again, if you don't share this or talk about it with anyone, it just keeps amplifying and amplifying and amplifying and amplifying, and you get entrenched with that. So talking to someone, this is important, find someone who will take the charge out of it. Someone who will not add to it, because there's two types of people. One, where you say you talk about your problems, they're like, oh, yes, tell me more. Oh, that is tough. Ooh. Oh, and did you think of that too? And they're just throwing gasoline on the fire. There are people like that. They thrive off your drama and your problems. Don't share it with those people. But share it with people who are like, hey, it's not that bad. What are you talking about? You got this. People that ground you in reality. You can think of that little voice as if you've watched Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. It's like worm tongue whispering in your ear. It's like, yeah, anyone see that scene? There's like the old king, and it's like this little whispery, little like kind of serpenty guy, and he literally poisoned the mind of the old king. And the scene is when they arrive, they see this king just kind of rotting away, weak and pathetic. And at some point, it's like they kick Worm Tongue out, and it just all comes off, and he like looks young again. The life comes back. It's like all the poison is gone. We tend to all have that there too. That little voice saying it's too hard. That little voice saying, maybe it's different for you. Why try anyway? Right? Another example of Worm Tongue would be in the show Big Mouth on Netflix. Anyone see that? It's a great show. It's a great show. But there's one character in it called Depression Kitty. And it's like, this is a cartoon animated show, and it's like this cat that is supposed to represent depression. And it'll go up and like kind of whisper like, hey, don't you want to just lie in bed and just, sip on some like warm ice cream, some soupy ice cream, and just feel sad and cry and put some shows on and, just cuddle in bed and just, it's so hard for you. Wouldn't that feel comforting? Right? So it's like that pull towards disempowerment. For that you're going to have to, just as the king did to Worm Tongue, say, enough. Nope. And you're going to have to put a firm boundary in place. If that's you, by the way, okay, so step one, it's talk to people who take the charge out of it. Step two is start putting your foot down. Audit throughout the day. If you're in that state, you should be telling that little voice to fuck off at least 5 times a day. Did you say fuck you to that little voice 5 times today? Right? For all of you who raise your hand from now on, hey, fuck you to that voice 5 times a day. Before going to bed, do an audit on your day. Did I say fuck you to that voice 5 times? Okay, good. Now I can go to bed. Start there. Now, people say, well, isn't that like self-attack and self-hate? That's one way to view it. You could also view it as putting a firm boundary, a boundary of self-respect, of self-love. Now, this isn't the solution. You don't want to stay in that state of always saying fuck you to that voice. But what it does is it starts taking a bit of the power away and creating space between you and that voice. Once there's space, you can then start letting go of it. So you don't stop there. You don't want to live in that state, but it's a stepping stone to letting go. Okay? And don't necessarily let that voice convince you that that is you. A lot of people have convinced themselves that they are that old rotten king. Right? Or it's like the whole Lion King. It's like, remember who you are. And then what they do is, again, instead of finding people to take the charge out of it, they find people who add to it, and then they form, again, little groups where they just keep talking about how worthless and sad and pathetic they are, and it just amplifies. Break out of that. It is a lie. That is not you. You were not born that way. None of you were born like well, I'm sympathetic. Like none of you, no. Look at people who have gone through hard times and have come out of it. Not in a way to compare yourself, but in a way to put things in perspective. Meaning that every single person here, no matter how hard things are for you right now, there are tons of people in this world who would pay anything to have your problems. Anything. You know, it reminds me of one, like even me, if you think about it, I'm like, when I first started working on my social skills, I was so shy, I couldn't ask someone for the time, which again, true. And it was like just weeks and even months of I just couldn't, and I'd go home and I'd cry in my pillow, also true. Felt so down, it was extremely bad, it sounds bad, but say I were to tell this to someone who has, again, way worse problems, it literally sounds like the most privileged problem on earth. It's like, well, I'm a little shy when it comes to talking to people. Oh, really? That's it? That's your biggest problem? Well, yeah. Right? So, that's the adversity. Again, there was a client like that too. It's like, it's so hard. I'm like, well, yes, it is. Doesn't take away from that. But also, don't overblow it into something that it's not. Take some perspective here. Again, it's all about taking the charge out of it. That's the first step. So even reading about some of the, say, horrors in history and people who've survived that really puts things in perspective, right? A book I'd recommend you all read is Man's Search for Meaning, right? Viktor Frankl. Terrible book, absolutely one of the worst reads in your life. But trust me, no matter how sorry you feel for yourself now, you will read that book and you will not feel as sorry for yourself anymore after. There's no way. I hope. Maybe someone's like, well, it's still not as bad as me. I hope not. It's terrible. So seeing that, I mean, like, wow, some of the people who've gone through that, again, not comparing yourself and then feeling sorry, like, well, if they could do it, why can't I have this little thing? No. But seeing like, wow, it is possible. If they can, what one person can do, another person can do. Another perspective that I took on, funny enough, a lot, in kind of playing into this whole like hero's journey is realize in life, like you do want the contrast. And if you are going, especially if you're starting out, like these are your humble beginnings. These are those obstacles. If you watch Star Wars, guess what? Anyone like Luke in Star Wars? Hey, he gets his hand cut off. Maybe this is you right now getting your hand cut off. Part of it. That's part of what makes Luke. That's part of the journey. Another perspective, and this is kind of a scary, sad one, is that we all forget so much in life. A lot of the times where you've experienced adversity, where things were tough in your life so far, you've forgotten about it. All of the times where you're so angry, you already forgot about it. Even the good times, you forgot about it. It is insane. You kind of realize like, wow, even this right now, like, guess what? You already probably forgot about parts of yesterday, like yesterday's speech, yesterday's event, and the day before. A week or two from now, you'll probably forget a lot of even this. Even this talk, you probably already forgot what I talked about 20 minutes ago. There's some key moments that come to mind. It's like, yeah, the worm tongue thing, yeah. Oh, the put your foot down, okay. You don't remember all the little details. Life's like that. Just take your entire life so far. It's like, hey, what comes to mind? There's some key memories, and then the rest is gone. And then occasionally you'll get a reminder, like you might bump into someone you haven't seen in years, and like you'll have these memories like, oh, I completely forgot that happened. It's all just buried. So even if things seem really tough right now, you'll forget about it soon enough, right? Again, but then that can also like lead you down a whole spiral. We're like, well, then what's the point of anything? We forget it all anyway, right? This is especially for people who are driven by like legacy. I think someone posted this on, I think I saw this on Instagram actually. So if you take, say, Betty White, right, like an icon, accomplished so much, that was the Instagram post. It's like, how often do you think of her now that she passed away? Do you think of her this week? Who? Right, you're like, who? Do you think of her last week? So say you take someone that great, if you forget about them so fast, how soon are people going to forget about you? If I were to, knock on wood, or, pass away now, some of you might, think for a little bit, or like, remember the videos, but I'll get buried in the algorithm. A couple years from now, no one will really know. This is also why it's important to really, again, purpose-wise, do it for you from a place of, again, like being of service and generating and producing versus with the reputation. A saying that really resonated with me for a while is, you can't fuck up this life, which is a good one, which is in the way true, right? It's like you can only fuck it up if you compare yourself to something else, someone else. On your own path, how do you know you fucked up? Right? I'm behind in life. How do you know? Have you spoken to the universe, to God? They're like, you are a little behind in life, son, come on. Right? What does it even mean to be behind in life? The other thing you realize with age, by the way, is, not that I'm extremely old, but still feel young, is how many people come and go. Like, no joke, early 20s, I'd see people, say, blast up ahead of me, and I'd be thinking, oh, I'm behind, oh my God. Ugh. And then guess what? 5, 10 years would pass. Well, I moved up. So who's really behind in the long run? Right? You might even see someone you're looking up to now, they're like, they're so ahead, look at all the success. Maybe they now have cancer and they're dead in 5 years. Who's really ahead, who's really behind? Who knows? So it's crazy how we still do these like comparing games. It's like, again, the same little high schooler mentality as adults, which is insane. Right? So in the end, it's like, of course, if you have goals, go for them, have an intention, but no, you're exactly where you need to be. And if there's anything telling you you aren't, that's something to let go of.